Good Governance Radio.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Let's go.
This is your radio, your station.
GGR. Good Governance Radio.
Your online radio. The new online radio that makes you happy.
The Good Governance Radio.
All right, it's a beautiful Monday morning right here in our studio. It's Good Governance Radio. And of course, we are here to take you on another round of transmission online right here. My name is Chris Bassi, and of course, I'm sure you had a wonderful weekend. We're starting the week on a brighter note. And of course, our face seems to be looking brighter than you could ever thought of if you're watching us live from online platform, talking about YouTube and Facebook, and of course at www.ggr.com.ng. All right, once again, I say a warm welcome to you to this morning edition of Speak Out on GGR, Good Governance Radio. I'm not alone in the studio this morning, though we are not a full house. We are not complete as it used to be, but then I have one of the team partner in the studio with me. Let me allow him to introduce himself.
The Red Cap Chief is missing here with his proverb. Maybe the villagers did not come with Pan and the red fowl.
I think so.
Well, my name is Tony. Welcome to another beautiful Monday morning.
Okay, before we get straight up to Speak Out on the morning show right here on Good Governance Radio, we want to quickly take a look at what is happening in one of the daily, talking about in-house newspaper here, New National Star newspaper. We want to take a look at some of the headline right here on New National Star newspaper, and I have the bold headline here as it appears on the front page of the New National Star. It says promotion crisis rocks FRSC, grief offices to petition SGF. That story is on page 4 of the New National Star. Promotion crisis rocks FRSC, grief offices to petition the secretary to the state government. Tony, quickly, your reaction to this. What do you make of this? I think this should not just be something that should be limited to FRSC. If you go around the ministry and parastatal, you have one issue or the other with respect to promotion. What's your take on this?
Well, it's normal when it comes to promotions in the civil service commission, and you know quite well that every year there's always a promotion exam, and I don't know why there should be crisis. Maybe there are some years that was not promotion was not held, and maybe I believe normally they should know what's supposed to be done, and those in charge of promotion should know when next and who is supposed to go for the promotion. But maybe at times we might find out that maybe some juicy position might also be part of it for them to be promoted to and put them in some positions, sector commander, and what we have. So we tend to look at it as a normal way in our society, whereby even ordinary admission, there should be a crisis. Ordinary recruitment, there are crises. You can remember the immigration crisis. So everything about our governance is not yet too well okay.
Okay, still staying with FRSC, 2,998 driver's licenses on claim in Anambra State. That's coming from FRSC. All right, moving away from that, hope rises for true reconciliation in Southwest PDP. Bandits kidnap 8 persons in Zaria. FG disburses 9.5 billion naira conditional grants to 142,000 households in Katsina State. FG disburses 9.5 billion naira conditional grants to 142,000 households in Katsina State. Tony, in Katsina alone, 142 households have benefited from the conditional cash transfer. And a lot of Nigerians are saying, who are the people that have been getting this money? Because they seems not to be totally satisfied with the fact that, these, particular, this particular program by the federal government to lift, people out of poverty, and particularly the aged one, has been going on the ground. 142,000. This a huge number of people in Katsina State alone.
The government will say, well, there have been an impact in the economic of the nation. But to me, I have not really felt this cash transfer program in the society, because you are just calling the money the billions. But where is the multiple effect into our economy? How many people have been lifted out? But you continue hearing the number of numbers of people that have been given this cash transfer. How has it translated to our economic development? How has it empowered? Because when you are giving out this loan or this money, what is the multiple effect? So as long as some economics we want to put it out, is that really what can take people out of poverty? Rather than creating an enabling environment for people to strive in their various business environment. So giving out that little loan to some people that they said they're selling, let me say, granite or ripe plantain on the street, that 20,000 will help them out. But to me, that for how long? For how many? What is the purchasing power of Nigerians? So the problem is there's not giving out this money, but looking at how you can create jobs that will make people to be lifted out of. Some few weeks ago, Hope Uzodinma decided to give us some money to some youth in his state, and people are asking, what are they going to use that money for? What is that money meant for? Multiple returns to the society, to the state. So I believe, to me, I'm not really so comfortable with this cash transfer. The federal government is saying that they're using to elevate people from the poverty level.
All right, let's move on from there. CBN to Old Town Hall meeting on AFCFTA. That story is on page 9 of the New National Star. Attack on the Boho home. Southwest governors, Afenifere, unhappy with the federal government. Makinde tax national state assembly members on state police. Read the detail of that on page 22 of the New National Star. Gishiri, a few meters to Aso Rock, lacks basic health facility. Tony, do you know where this place is? They said it's a few meters from...
Gishiri is a suburb in FCT.
So you're supposed to enjoy the same basic facilities.
Not
like
really.
It's
not even if you are next few kilometers to Aso Rock, it shouldn't be, because it should be it should be the normal thing that the government should provide for the citizen. So it is not something that because they are close to the Aso Rock, then they should enjoy the facility. Whether you are close to Aso Rock or not, this facility ought to be there for the citizen.
Okay. Finally, on the New National Star, this headline: only Atiku can decide if he will contest in 2023. That's not coming from me, but rather coming from Showomi. That's his spokesman at last time out when he actually contested for the presidential election. And quickly, let's take a look at what is happening on the back page of the New National Star, the sport page of the New National Star. Ronaldo Sheikh lead Euro 2020 goal chart. I am done with Nasarawa United coming from our guy. You can read details of these on the back page of the New National Star. Right, that will wraps it up on our newspaper review. Sorry, we could only, take a review of our in-house newspaper, the New National Star. And of course, tomorrow we'll have all the newspaper on board, and of course we'll bring them to you. This is still Good Governance Radio, and of course we're going for a short break. When we return, I will take you through our talking points on Speak Out today. Tony and myself will definitely make sure that we do justice to the topical issue on Speak Out. Please do stay tuned. Of course, you can join our conversation with us on 0913-023-6602. You can watch us live at www.ggr.com.ng. You can watch us on YouTube at Good Governance Radio, Facebook Live at Good Governance Radio. Please stay tuned as we'll be back in just a moment.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Let's go. This is your radio, your station.
GGR, Good Governance Radio. You are listening to GGR, Good Governance Radio. Stay with us. Good Governance Radio.
Glad to have you rejoin us on the show this morning. This is still your online radio, Good Governance Radio. And of course, we're reaching you live from our studios right here. And this morning, we're moving straight to our topical issue on Speak Out this morning. We want to take a look at the impending passage of the electoral bill. It's been there for a very long time, but then finally it seems that there is going to be light at the end of the tunnel. Yes, I think the National Assembly are working around the clock this time around, making sure that some of these bills that could have a huge impact on the life of Nigerians and, of course, on the electoral system and the country is definitely given the attention that it deserves. And today we're taking a look at the electoral bills that will be passed tentatively by Thursday, all things are being equal. Yes, in as much as we are excited about the passage of this bill, by the National Assembly, there are also some concern by the civil society organization with respect to some clauses and some amendment that will be made by the two chambers of the National Assembly. And of course, I would definitely point out some of these concerns right here. Yes, some of the concern has to do with the electronic transmission of results come 2023 election, and of course demonetization of the of the whole process, talking about the presidential candidate being given the liberty to spend so much during campaigns and all of that. Will that not translate into some sort of monetization? And of course, what is also another concern is that party members seeking appointment into INEC, a card-carrying member seeking appointment into INEC. These are some of the things that we definitely want to look at on the show this morning. Speak Out. Tony, let me start with the concern. One of the concern has to do with the electronic transmission of results by Independent National Electoral Commission. It will be recalled that in the last election, I think one of the evidence is that the PDP held on, which was eventually dismissed at the Supreme Court, was that there was a server that actually contains the results, which could also be interpreted that there was an electronic transmission of the result. But then the Supreme Court was able to actually, squash that, saying that it wasn't, that such wasn't, in passed into law, that it couldn't have been possible. But now, after almost 2 years now, we're going to 4 years, we are also hearing that that particular process, electronic transmission of results, is now something that the National Assembly are looking at the possibility of omitting in the electoral bill. What do you make of it? Are we not ripe enough to have this process in our electoral system?
You see, Chris, at times when we argue or when we talk about some issues that the politician knows that it will affect them not to rig the election, you find out that they will start crying foul to it. But if something that will affect the citizen, they'll do what they could do to approve such an act. Now, looking at the...
Tony, please, sorry to cut you in, because you just brought the word rig. And the way most of the dailies tag this particular story and concern is that concern mount over lawmakers' plan to rig 2023 election.
That is what I'm trying to bring out now. Because they know that this electronic transmission of results would have been the best. But again, INEC said this will help us. It might not be for 2023, but at least let it be passed into law, but so that they can prepare for it. But our politicians, because of the way the result sheet are being manipulated, are being doctored before, from the ward, from the unit to the ward, from ward to local government, before the state. So they believe that if this thing is just being passed immediately after being counted at the polling unit or the ward unit, then there will be no way for them to rig this election. But I don't see any reason why the National Assembly will want to omit that from the passage of this
electoral bill.
Because I believe, for us to get it right, we must start doing something in the right way. We must start coming up with... We are in the era of e-voting. Some people are even saying the diaspora should also come out and vote wherever they are. I don't think that it's going to be the right thing for the National Assembly to just expunge that section from the electoral bill, because it is high time. People have been calling for, why are we finding it very difficult to upgrade that we should go on an electronic result transmission? Because they believe that most of their ways at which, one, if you look at it, it will cost us less, because printing of this result sheet will not be there again. And once it's tabulated, immediately online, you just post it to the server of INEC, and it will be there for everybody to see, from the unit, from the ward. So, because we are so used to the system of rigging, not coming out the actual result, then I believe they will not want this to happen. But I believe the INEC should still push it more to make sure that it's being approved. And also, the stakeholders. This is where we want the voice of the CSOs. This is where we want the voice of the political parties, because some of the political parties will not want it. But some of the political parties that felt, well, two domineering parties always use this during the election, should come out and say, give us, we have been clamoring for this e-voting, is resulting transmission. Why can't we not have it? Why can't they approve it? Well, if he says because of 2023, everybody is trying to look at what will happen in 2023. So we should start planning for a better election, free and fair election, so that there will be less reason for going to the court. There will be less reason for saying this result sheet, the figure that at the polling unit, they said once the result is being counted, it's going to be pasted immediately at the ward, at the unit, where the polling unit. But at times, that does not work. People still doctor this thing before they get to the decision. So I believe it's for their own selfish interest. That's why they don't want that section to be approved.
Okay, I'm still staying with some of the concern. Another one is that the civil society organization has also expressed concern over the increase in spending limits for presidential candidates and others, saying it is an indication that the National Assembly is committed to entrenching a political system that is heavily monetized.
Even if that is not even done, even though it was not even there, even INEC cannot say they can monitor how much is being used for campaign. So now that so whether they make it there or not, our election is the most expensive, if I may use that word. I may be starting to be corrected in the world, because when you look at the money given out, apart from the campaign, apart from the funfair, even the money shared at the polling unit for voters is part of it. And there was a time that the INEC were saying that after the election, let the political parties come with their budget used for the election. You find out that there are some that cannot be. You find out they'll say, some of these things are free donors. This one is being done by a committee of friends, which ought not to be. Come out with the total amount of money for the campaign. With this kind of law coming into if eventually putting into use, then we'll find out that you look at it that if you are not rich, you can't come out for election. You can't come to contest. You can't come for anything in the country, because it is not going to be, if you have the money, come out and contest. So it will make some people that are qualified to represent or to move this country forward not to have the opportunity to come out. Because where would somebody want to have 1 billion naira or want to have 2 billion naira
to use for campaign?
To use for campaign alone, touring the whole 36 states, flying a lot of executive and escort to all the venues. Look at the forfeit, look at the Ashoebis, look at the Ashoebi, look at the banner, look at the TV advert. So there's a lot that goes with it. So definitely. I believe if they add this to it, it shows that some people might not be lucky to even smell the seat of even ordinary councillor. Ordinary councillor in the local government, it is still money.
Well, I think the angle to which this one is coming up is that they want to try to curtail this too much of spending of money during campaign. But just as you've said, it's going to be very difficult to stop people from spending money during election.
It's going to be very difficult because some people, when you ask people to say you want to put the limit, other ways are there that this money is going to be given out, which you cannot be accounted for, which you cannot say, okay, is this out? Now you have to now streamline it. If you want to tell me that to campaign, you know how expensive it is to travel within the country. You know how expensive it is to even say you want to stage a campaign rally. You are going to transport people from the local government to the venue. You are going to pay them. So if you are not interested, say, okay, go online and do your campaign. I really not going to spend money. So to me, I don't think that thing can work, because if you said somebody can come and say, I'm a friend of the president, it's not the president's money, or it's not the candidate's money, it's not the governor's money, it's our money we are spending. Will you be included as part of money spent for his campaign?
As a point. Okay, we've actually looked at two of the concerns, and let's quickly also take a look at another one here. I think on a positive side now, the bill is also seeing to it that that INEC and security official, INEC members and security officials take oath of neutrality and loyalty before they engage in the election process. How visible, or what will be the effect of this, taking an oath when you're going like all this? Is it possible for all the security men to take oaths that they place their loyalty to the nation, and of course not get involved in some practices that could be detrimental to a smooth conduct of the election?
when they are saying that the INEC and the security operatives should take an oath,
Mm.
when after the election, the governors, do they take oath to give us dividend of democracy? What has been the
Take hold
effect?
not to take bribe.
The president goes with his own faith book.
Mm.
What are we getting from it? So I don't see this one to be a positive in my own opinion, because how many of them want to come and take oath because I want to go and contest, want to go and monitor to secure the polling unit, to secure the voters, then I will not come and take oath not to compromise. Taking an oath to me, it doesn't have anything to do. It depends on conscience. It depends on how we're able to manage the situation very well. It depends on how we valued our electoral system, how we feel that we should be civil enough to understand that this is for our own good. So I don't think that excuse me, the INEC official wants to go there. Well, there are some that compromise, depends on individual conscience. But I believe that to me, I don't see any good that can come out of that act.
Aspect of it.
Because I don't see anything good out of it, because even our leaders, when they are being sworn in, what do they say? Even with the constitution. So what that one has got to do for maybe less than 24 hours election? Will the oath be taking 2 hours to the date of election, or 6 hours? And who is going to administer the oath? Is it the Chief Justice of the state or the Attorney General of the state? All these things are just to me, they don't have any relevance.
That's just some of the clauses that we have in the new electoral bill that will be passed into law tentatively on Thursday. And finally, before we move on, let's take a look at one last subject that is what of interest in the electoral bill, that party member that seek appointment into INEC rigs jail term. Tony, this takes us to the uproar that has surrounded the nomination of Loretta Onoche, who is essay to the president on social media. He has been nominated as INEC commissioner for a very long time, and there's been back and forth, by the National Assembly to actually, confirm his a nomination, I beg your pardon. But then civil society organization too have actually protested. The PDP have protested that she's a card-carrying member of the APC, and as such, she does not deserve to be in the position of an umpire when it's come to the electoral system in Nigeria, not to even talk of an exalted position like an INEC commissioner, right there. So what do you make of this development that there's going to be a law that actually forestall this kind of appointment of a card-carrying member into the INEC board? What's your take?
Chris, if you look at the component of INEC, there are times that when PDP were in power, there are some allegations that there are some of them are PDP carry member. You can be a party member by not really having the card, but the interest of the party will be in your heart.
Of course.
So who are the people rigging for the political parties in the state? The INEC officials that are collaborating with the politician to rig. Are they there with card? Are they PDP member or APC? So there are some things that we should look at it objectively. Being an APC carry member as member of INEC commissioner, because she's an essay to the president on social media. To me, if she's found in another bigger place to work for the government, to make sure that things work out well, I think we should always appreciate people to be put in place. Because even those that were caught helping one party or the other to rig an election, when they were appointed, were they not a member of any political party? This is interest. Everybody can, even though say you don't want anybody, just say you want a newborn baby to come and become member of INEC commissioner. If that baby is being compromised at the point of preparing for the election, it doesn't mean. So what I see in that aspect is just that there may be another fifth columnist on the issue of
Loretta.
not to be member of this, not actually being a member because he has been an SA. We have in the era of PDP, a lot of these issues of accusation were there. So I don't see it as a kind of something that be an issue. It depends on the person. When they are talking about Amina, that she's a cousin or she's related to the president, what happened? She's still there. So there are some things that we should let us look at the quality of that person and what he can deliver, not putting sentiment to some extent.
Definitely putting sentiment aside. And of course, that will be some kind of infringement on Loretta's, right as a citizen of Nigeria. She has the right to, aspire
to any position.
And of course, she's just holding a political appointment that could be taken away from her. But then, being a commissioner of INEC is a right, and we should not politicize this one. Okay, we're going for a short break now, and when we return, we're definitely going to take a look at what we are getting from the Southwest with respect to Sunday Igboho. And of course, some group have come out to say that they want to, assemble the best of hand when it's come to lawyers to actually defend Igboho. Does that shows that Igboho is having the backing, from his own region as it stands? So let's go for this short break, and when we return, I will definitely, take you through one of the news that has been trending in the country in the last couple of days. Do stay tuned. This is still Good Governance Radio, and myself, Chris Bassi, and Tony Ayodele are here in the studio.
Chapter systems are offline.
This is the Good Governance Radio. GGR. Stay with us. You are listening to GGR, Good Governance Radio. Stay with us. This is the Good Governance Radio.
All right, welcome back. This is Good Governance Radio, your online radio, and we are here this morning on this special segment of our morning program talking about Speak Out. My name is Chris Bassi, and I have right here with me in the studio Tony Ayodele, the Red Cap Chief, talking about Eberechi Eze is unavoidably absent right here, but hopefully he will be here by tomorrow. Okay, this is breaking news coming right here from Kaduna. Let me check this before we go into Sunday Igboho, and of course what the Southwestern leaders, some of them are saying. Yes, report has it that gunmen suspected to be kidnappers in the early hours of today, Monday, invaded Bethel Secondary School, Maramara in Chikun Lugu government area of Kaduna State, kidnapping unspecified numbers of students. A source told our newsmen that the hoodlums stormed the school premises located in the outskirts of the metropolis around 1 a.m., shooting indiscriminately and made away with scores of students. Although there was no official confirmation of the attack yet, the source said security operatives had cordoned off the school. All right, we will bring you details of these in our subsequent bulletin. Okay, quickly, that's a sad one this morning. As at yesterday, there was also a news of kidnaps, and I think that one actually involved babies. We learned that babies were kidnapped still in Kaduna, and this morning we are hearing of another school, kidnapping case coming out from Kaduna. Tony, you might want to quickly react to this. Yesterday, we learned that the bandit killed 7 abducted babies in Kaduna. That was just the most shocking part of it. Babies, who's going to, take care of those babies in kidnappers' den and all of that. And this morning, another school abduction still in Kaduna. What is?
I think, Chris, this is becoming out of normalcy now. If these people descend to go to that level of adopting babies, then there's more to it, because it's taken another dimension. And I believe, and in Kaduna has been in the news for quite a number of months. And I think the governor should try as much as possible, if there's any cause, to settle some people in that state, because everything is in Kaduna. You can, of recent now, you can see here that the CAN and regional groups take Kaduna's governors El-Rufai to tax. So I don't believe this dimension will be of any good things to the nation. If babies are now being their target, it's not going to be very well. So I think there's a need for everybody to put up a thinking cap and say how we can end this kidnapping, banditry, and this Boko Haram in this country.
All right, quite a sad situation there. We just hope that our law enforcement agents will definitely, go after these, men of the underworld and possibly rescue all those in their custody. Tony, we're talking about Sunday Igboho. Definitely can, go on a show like this and conclude it without, delving into this one now. On Saturday, despite the show of force by, the police in Lagos State and all of that, the Yoruba Nation rally held, and of course, in the course of that rally, we heard, some of the protesters chanting Igboho's name and seeing him as their leaders and all of that. But then, following the raid on his residence in Ibadan by the DSS, I think Igboho came out to issue a very lengthy statement that the guns were implanted by the DSS in his home, and of course that the DSS actually carted away some money belonging to him and all of that. I want you to react to this. Who are we to believe? The DSS says those guns are where, exhibits from Igboho's home. And Igboho is coming to say that the guns were planted, to actually implicate him. Who are we to believe? We were to go by the two statements coming from the DSS and Igboho himself.
Let Igboho come out to say, prove it that it was planted. Let it bring evidence. If you can come out with evidence to say this thing was planted, when? This is his house. So who and when and how was it planted in his house? That's another topic for another day. But the DSS said, we found this in your house. And even some of his boys that were arrested, some of them were found with charms and guns, which was displayed. So Igboho should not come out to say what is not. Let him come out to prove the allegation. That will make people to see that, yes, this thing was planted truly in your house. Again, he has sued the DSS of 500 million of damages. Let's see how that one goes in court. But I believe that the issue of Sunday Igboho, to some extent, is not the leader of Yoruba race. And I believe that if the leaders are not in support, like in some of the dailies, they said some of the Southwest and Afenifere are not happy with the federal government. In what way are they not happy? Is it the way he was being arrested or what? But let us call a spade a spade. Where the DSS have come out to say this is the reason why they went after him, fine. And secondly, this young man, you see, we are talking about peace in the nation. On that Saturday, a young girl, we don't know, from DSS, from the police report, they said there's a girl that was, according to a video clip we watch in some of these our stations, sister stations, a lady was shot. A 12-year-old girl was shot dead. But the DSS, the police said no. Where this girl's corpse was laid, that was found, was even opposite the other side of the road, that they found that her neck was cut with maybe a sharp knife or sharp object. But if that rally was held, we wouldn't have known what will happen on that Saturday, because there was a lot of counter plans by other opponents that will say, don't hold this thing in Lagos. You've done it in another state, but we don't want it in Lagos because we want peace in Lagos State. So I just believe that these issues should be looked into critically, very well, because we don't want crisis in our nation. If you want to agitate for something, there are other better ways. Yes, you have the right to protest, but when you protest, you do not know where the hoolers will hijack it, and at the end of the turn bloody. A lot of lives will be lost. And we don't want it. We don't want too much bloodletting in this our nation again. We are still facing the banditry, the kidnapping, and at every point in time, when there's any kind of riot, you see people dying, innocent people dying, stray bullets. So I don't think such an act should be encouraged. If you want to have a peaceful demonstration, let it be peaceful. But when you are finding that other people are now saying we have pro and anti, there will be a clash of interest. So that is where let the Igboho come out and say, yes, prove your innocence that this thing was planted into your house. Whereby we still have to believe on the fact that it's on the table.
Well, Tony, I do recall that in one of those rallies, I think the one that actually took place in Ibarapa, precisely where Igboho actually displayed a gun, a pump action. I saw the video, and of course the pictures that went viral on social media. So that was a clear evidence, or that's a clear evidence to show that he was in possession of firearm, because he actually displayed a gun. I wouldn't know if that gun was licensed or not, but then judging by the other catches of arms that was presented by the DSS, we'll actually leave that. But before we move away from that Igbo's case, there's this news coming out that the Yoruba groups, some of them, are actually planning to assemble the best of lawyers to defend Igboho in courts. Do they really have a case? Is there any case to be defended in court by whoever that feels that Igboho has been, somehow unjustly, arrested, unjustly attacked by the state? Will there be any case if they eventually make it to the law courts?
Our learned brothers will always tell you that you have a case, even though you know that you don't have a case, because that is their profession. And I think they want to say, "Don't worry, you have a case." But until it is proven at the court, then we cannot say whether it doesn't have a case. So, but since they are gathering themselves, let them pile up with their evidence and defend papers and let's see what happened in the courtroom. But I believe that where to some extent there might be one or two areas at which they might find out that the right of Igbo has been preached upon, and again they might also look at some of the attack on him, his fundamental human rights, the right of privacy and all that. So, but to me, when they will, let's see on what basis are they going to court. Then from there, we will know that whether they have a case.
Yeah,
but a learned person will tell you
Mm.
you have a case.
Tony, in a layman language, so to say, will you agree with some of the notions that Igbo should have been, if DSS, according to DSS, they said that intelligence report has it that Igbo was actually stockpiling arms in his residence. That was why they actually had to, invade his residence. But then, a lot of human rights activists have come out to say that irrespective of that, intelligence at the disposal of the DSS, they should have actually, invited Igbo to come, and there should have been a search warrant before they go for that particular operation. Do you subscribe to this? Do you think that there would have been a peaceful approach, towards, a peaceful approach in handling all of this by the DSS in terms of going with a search warrant, or maybe inviting Igbo to report to the nearest DSS office to answer question when that intel got to them?
Somebody that wants to declare war into a nation, you don't give him that opportunity, because they see Igbo is seeing himself as if he want to group some young Nigerians, some young Yorubas to fight a nation. And when you now have such intelligence that he has something at his disposal, you don't give him to come and say whether truly, based on intelligence, you move before those things were being used. If SDSS or whether with their intelligence, maybe they must have said, okay, go come or had that you are piling stock. Before they say, let's go and do the warrant, they would have packed those things out. And from there, what is the essence of it? So at times when our police or our DSS or our armed forces are taking some actions, they are more professional than us. We are only looking at the right, but there are some actions that are needed to be taken at the spot in order to make sure that the event is not taking place. So if they are not saying that they need to ask for search warrant, they need to invite Igbo to come and defend it, I don't think there will be such a long time. There will be enough time for that. But the truth is that when you call a policeman that armed robber is attacking you in your house, what do? They move into action. So it's when you move to action after when the action has been curtailed, then they will not come and look at it, what happened there. But if you are not saying that you call a policeman that armed robber wants to attack you, and the policeman says,
start calling the armed robbers. We are coming, we want to come.
It's just like an illustration, you understand me? But so the issue of that, these people have this intelligence report and they look at it, what's the best way to make sure that this thing does not escalate or did not happen? But it's to just move in on a closed door, close range to him, and make sure that this thing is not being, before you can say anything, information can go to somebody that they are coming, but even from the letter they are invited, before you know, his boss will have removed those things.
Definitely.
So to me, anybody differs on his own opinion on issues. But my opinion is that whatever it is, the DSS have come out to say, yes, we went there because of this.
Yeah.
If it will not be that they were denying that it was not them, this and that, then that will be another thing. But they said they went there, and this is what they recovered from his house. And where those things were removed from, it was well hidden.
And Tony, and Igbosi has an opportunity to take an honorable steps by turning himself. If he feels that he's being witch hunt or whatever the case is, he can still turn himself into the DSS and of course, and prove his innocence, because the door is open for him to, actually turn himself in. Yes, we were talking about invitation. Now the DSS have actually invited him to come over.
Yeah, I
And
think
of
they
course,
claim him wanted.
yes, now he has been declared wanted. So I think he should take the honorable step by possibly turning himself in right there to answer question from the Department of State Security Service.
Let's just believe that the DSS and they're able to do justice, because some of these members that were arrested, they were displayed on they were paraded on
they were paraded, yes.
And they said they will take them to court, and let's see what evidence they have against them. And because some of these things, some guns, charms were found among them in their bodies. But I think that will be for the DSS to do. But and Sunday Igboho, for me, if you know that you are very bold and you are fighting a cause, and you know that you have the support of your people, come out and you see, and let the court take its course on this issue.
Definitely.
If you are going to be free, you'll be free. If you are going to be whatever might be the court judgment on this issue, then you face it.
All right.
But we want peace in this country.
Definitely. That's the most important thing. We all want peace and all of that. And before we go, Tony, because we're actually running out of time, before we go, let's quickly, yesterday was Sunday, and something actually happened in one of the big church right here in the federal capital, where 10 men or 10 people were arrested as a soul race group who actually attempted to turn a church service into Buhari Must Go protest. According to reports, these 10 men actually donned a T-shirt with Buhari Must Go inscription and went to a particular church. And a lot of Nigerians were swift to actually blame the church authority for exposing those individuals to the security agents. But then, what do you make of this? Why dress in that kind of manner to a church? Don't you think that was a kind of a move to tarnish the image of the church, or even implicate the church? Because it's a church. The church is not a protest venue or something. We do know that the Yoruba protest took place in Ojota, the Gani Fahimi Park, which is known for all manner of protests when it's come to Nigeria. But then wearing Buhari Must Go jersey, polo to a church service, was that an invitation of anarchy? And of course,
Chris, don't let us just fool ourselves here. Some of these pastors are also supporters of they are not really coming out as a spiritual leader. You find out that some of these pastors are loyalists to some of these governors, to some of these party agents. So, to me, I won't say anything that you can decide to wear anything to church. It now depends on how you are. If they were allowed to stand and speak on the pulpit, campaigning, that would be another thing. Though I was not in privilege to have enough information what transpired in that church. But if they were allowed to hold on to the mic and speak to the congregation that Buhari must go, that is where you have an issue. But if it was just something you put on a t-shirt and a cap and decide to go to church with it, that's how you feel you want to dress. You are also doing your campaign.
After all, we used to see, women tying, political parties, rappers to church service and all of that. Probably the one that was given to them during campaigns.
So if they wore the t-shirt and other thing to church, it may be a campaign. It depends on you to accept is either you read and take your eyes off of it, or you just read it and you believe in what they're saying.
But we learned that it was even the church security that alerted the DSS. So it shows that the church in itself, the particular church in question, were not comfortable with that move, and they were the one that this church security made sure that those people did not escape until the DSS came to.
Now, if somebody
take
now decides
custody
to
of
where
them.
Buhari must stay, what will now happen? It's a different opinion about this. It's a question to ask now. If somebody now, remember during this June 12 crisis and all this, there's an opponent that said Buhari must go. There's people that came to this and said Buhari must stay. So I believe that if some people decide to wear a t-shirt and say Buhari must stay, even beyond 2023, what will happen? So I think we should balance some things.
Anyway, Tony, that was why I said we know the protest, like in Abuja now. If you have a protest, if you have any grievance to hear, if you want to campaign or protest, you go to the Unity Fountain. Nobody would definitely come
during
after
election,
you. But
during campaign,
but then taking it to church
during no, don't say that. During, I'm not in support, whatever it is. I know that during election, candidates go to church, go to mosques
to campaign
for vote. Some of them will go to church and go and kneel down in the front of the pastor, receive the anointing, and from there you find out the pastor, directly or indirectly, will bless him, and it shows that the pastors as endorse him for his member to know that I'm in support of this. So it's not a new thing that you take campaign to church or anywhere. All
right, let's leave it at that. We're still hoping to get more details of that particular story, and of course every other stories coming up. This is where we're going to be calling it today on the program for this morning. Speak Out on Good Governance Radio. Of course, we really want to thank you, our listener, for actually staying tuned to our program for today. Tomorrow will be another day. We'll be here bright and early, God's willing, to take you on another interesting edition of Speak Out, and of course the newspaper review. On behalf of everyone in the studio, Tony,
do have a lovely day.
All right, my name is Chris Bassi, and many thanks to Oluwatobiloba Akimbo for making sure that we have a sound production this morning. Till tomorrow when we shall come your way again. I am Chris Bassi, urging you to have a beautiful week ahead, and bye for now.
Junker systems are offline.
This is the Good Governance Radio. GGR. Stay with us.